Shabbat Shalom, everyone. This week it is going to be a Shabbat Parshat Vayigash we're going to read over the weekend, and it's very interesting. We all know the famous story how at the start of this week's Parsha, Yosef is going to reveal himself to the other brothers, the Shvatim, that he is actually the viceroy of Egypt, the second most powerful position in the whole world, and reveals also to Yaakov, his father, that he's still alive. I want to concentrate on the conversation, the encounter, when Yaakov Avinu, Jacob, is going to meet Pharaoh in Mitzrayim, when Yaakov is going to come to dwell with the Shvatim and live in the land of Goshen in Egypt. So they meet each other, and the Midrash relates over that Pharaoh actually asks Yaakov about how his life was all those years, and Pharaoh and Yaakov, he doesn't get such a positive approach within regards to the trials and tribulations he had suffered, and says that his days were not like the days of his fathers, and there were tough times also to it. And Yaakov was very, very much correct in many senses, because look at how he suffered in his life, the trials he had especially with his brother Esau, where he had to flee. He feared for his life and had to give exorbitant bribe in order to save himself. He suffered also in his father-in-law's house, Lavan, where Lavan tried to trick him hundreds of occasions. Also, Dinah, his daughter, was violated by Shechem, we learn about in the Parshot in Vayeshev. And also we see that just recently that he thought that Joseph had passed away, and in most brutal circumstance, and was mourning, never ending his mourning was, where he thought that had actually occurred to Joseph. So he suffered a lot in his life and relates it over. However, and the Midrash actually relates that within regards to this conversation between Pharaoh and Yaakov, it was 33 words. And we all know, the Midrash relates that Yaakov was meant to live till the age of 180. And this 33-word conversation Yaakov would have, and he would have this, let's just say, this pessimistic attitude, where albeit he had every reason, one could argue, to be pessimistic, he would lose a year of his life for every word that was said in that conversation, which seems very harsh. And in fact, furthermore, Rabbi Aaron Leib Steinman, the great rabbi who sadly passed away just over 5 years ago, his yard site was last week, he actually relates that the reason Yaakov was pessimistic in this conversation with Pharaoh was because he didn't want Pharaoh to become jealous of him straight away. You could say, oh, what an amazing life he had, and it could bring a spur on a jealousy or something. So there is that very, very strong opinion. However, the Midrash relates, and the Dat Zakenim, the commentator actually relates, that this conversation, because it was 33 words, and it had a pessimistic tone to it, he would lose a year for every word that was said. However, one could argue that in this conversation, Yaakov had spoken 25 words, and Pharaoh had spoken 8 words. So why is Yaakov punished for 33 words? He should be, let's just say, penalized for 25 words he said in the conversation. So the great Rabbi Chaim Shmulevitz actually relates over that he is also, let's say, taken for account for the 8 words that Pharaoh says in this conversation, because it was in a way he initiated Pharaoh to ask the question, because he had looked old, let's just say, but old maybe not in the most youthful manner. Rav Chaim Shmulevitz actually adds that if he would have taken a more positive approach within regards to the suffering he had entailed, he wouldn't have been taken for account within regards to those things. Maybe he should have taken attitude within regards to the trials that he had endured, and looked at the positive of it, and said, thank God that Hashem had saved me from Lavan, from all the trickery I had done. Thank God that Hashem had saved me from Esau's hand, and we ended up in Shalom, let's just say, a Shalom state. Thank God Joseph is still alive, and thank God Dinah is okay at the moment. He should have taken that sort of more positive twist to everything that had encurtled within regards to him. However, he, from the conversation, it seemed like he didn't necessarily take that positive trip, let's just say, within regards to his life, all the troubles he had endured, and that's why he was taken for account, according to Rabbi Chaim Shmulevitz, within regards to this. But remember, Rabbi Aaron Leib Steinman actually does argue back, and does say that he did, let's say, this more pessimistic attitude within regards to the conversation, within regards to describing his life, not to arise at jealousy within regards to Yaakov, because Pharaoh could have said, look how lucky Yaakov is. He's got 12 incredible children. The son is viceroy of Egypt. He's got all this wealth, all this amazing wisdom. He comes from the greatest lineage ever, from Abraham and Isaac. So Pharaoh, on the other hand, could have become very, very jealous of Yaakov, and could have spurned jealousy. So according to Rabbi Steinman, he argues within regards to this approach, and he says that actually it was actually maybe a more positive thing that Yaakov had been taking this more pessimistic view, not to arouse jealousy. And we see in towards the end of last week's Parshat, in Parshat Miketz, to go on the theme of jealousy, not to make other people jealous, that despite the Shvatim were very, very wealthy, we learn in last week's Parshat, Yaakov's house was very wealthy with no food, however, with a lot of food. However, the rest of the people living in their territory was suffering from famine, and had that great trial upon themselves. So everyone had to go to Egypt to get food and sustenance. So Yaakov actually told the brothers, we don't want the other people surrounding us to become jealous of us, and we don't want to look conspicuous. So we ourselves should go to enter Mitzrayim and get the food, not to arouse jealousy. So very much Rabbi Aaron Leib Steinman also points out that he's over there, he was trying to conceal jealousy, so he took a pessimistic view. But also very much from that parsha from last week, we see that Yaakov very much doesn't want to make the other neighbors jealous, or the other non-Jews jealous, the non-Israelites jealous. So he's taken that attitude. So that could be something that will argue against his whole thing of losing the 33 years and the negative connotation towards his approach within regards to his lifespan. But albeit Yaakov obviously was one of the great forefathers of Am Yisrael, and he's one of the Avot, just along with Abraham and Yitzchak, and the three arguably greatest people in Jewish history, in world history. And there's Baruch Hashem, so much great lineage we come from, and we all are the children of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And may I dedicate this Dvar Torah video in memory of my sister-in-law Ahuva Bat Chiri Achaya, who passed away sadly about 7 months ago. And I want to wish you all in advance an awesome Shabbat and a Shabbat Shalom Brach from this Parshat Vayigash. Be blessed, guys. Bye.